Everyone, and come on in. Welcome all to tonight's webinar. Tonight we're discussing Web3, how to get started, and what are dApps. The goal of tonight is to give you an introduction to our Web3 course, which we are running this summer. It starts very soon, so I encourage you all to sign up. I'm going to drop a link in the chat to the course that we're discussing tonight. Oops, okay, let's copy and paste a link for everyone. Let me know if you can all hear and see me well, because we will be sharing some slides tonight, introducing Web3 and dApp development. So we still have spots left if you want to sign up for the summer semester. You can check out the course page if you haven't already. And here you can see the course description, read up more about it. In the summer, we are relaunching Web3. Very exciting. We've been running this course for about a year now, and I'm happy to come back for a summer semester. Perfect, glad you can hear and see me well. So in this 10-week course, we're learning all about how to build websites, and on top of that, decentralized websites, where we take a web app and we add a decentralized layer. Throughout this course, we'll learn how to code in JavaScript, a very popular language for the web. We'll also learn Web3 tools, how to connect to different blockchains, smart contracts, cryptocurrencies in our websites. There's many different types of dApps that you can build. They could be web apps, they could be just mobile app, or any piece of software. It could be a desktop app, it could be a video game. But we're sticking to websites in this course as they're the simplest for a beginner to pick up. We're also adding ChatGPT to this course, which is very exciting. This will be a new addition for the summer. We're going to be including tools like ChatGPT and DALL-E for auto-generating things like code, documentation, descriptions, even images for various projects. So we're excited to incorporate some AI into dApp development. So tonight we'll introduce Web3 and dApps and why we launched this course in the first place. We'll also be learning React throughout our 10 weeks. React is a JavaScript library, or more commonly, an advanced tool for building more complex websites. For those of you that don't have programming experience, don't worry, we will take you from the basics starting at week 1 and incrementing or improving your knowledge each week. So of course, we'll learn React as well as JavaScript. You can check out the whole course curriculum on the course page so you can see what you'll learn each week. This course is supersized. It's 2 extra weeks at no extra cost. Normally our courses are about 8 weeks, but this one is actually 10 weeks because there's a lot to learn in the Web3 space. We'll also be running the blockchain course in the summer. So if you're interested in this whole blockchain space, then I encourage you to check out the blockchain programming course as well. It's kind of a complementary course to Web3, as they're both in similar realm, same realm of Ethereum and blockchains in general. So you can see week 1, we will begin learning how to code. By week 2, we'll start building our first dApp with some popular tools in the Web3 space. So we're going to be building dApps throughout our entire summer together because we focus on building our portfolio and getting those projects out there. At around halfway at the course, about week 5, we get into more advanced projects by introducing React. And therefore we can build larger websites. So we start off simple, some simple sites, then we show how to connect those websites to the blockchain. Specifically, we're going to be using Ethereum in this course as our blockchain of choice. Then later on in the weeks, we get into some more complex projects. And we're actually running another webinar tomorrow night all about the blockchain side. So I encourage you to come back tomorrow night, tomorrow 5 p.m. Pacific time or 8 p.m. Eastern, if you're interested in learning even more in some of our webinars. You can see a couple of the course projects on the page. Building a dApp with some popular Web3 tools, building an NFT dApp. These are just a couple projects that we will build. as well as many other websites throughout the summer. Now we have 3 different plans for how you can take this course this summer. You can do the self-directed plan, where you're learning on your own with our entire video library. We've already run this course several times, so we already have a video library that you can start watching, as well as a library of code and projects. If you want to meet live every week, then you can sign up for the live classes plan, where you get all of our past, present, future videos and code, but you also get to meet live and ask questions, share your screen, do some project development live every Wednesday. We will be meeting this summer. And if you want extra one-on-one tutoring or developing a project, then we have our 3rd plan, which is the project help tutoring plan. So we have these 3 different options for how you can sign up. You can select one of your options. Our course is starting on June 21st, so that is the official start date. The course length is 10 weeks, excluding any holiday breaks. And the effort is about 8 to 12 hours per week, but it does vary depending on your course goals. If you want to just watch along, you can watch for 2 hours every week. If you want to take on homework, building projects, of course, that will take more effort. So to sign up, you can just select a course and it will be added to your cart. If you buy 2 at a time, you get an additional 10% off. So I encourage you to add our blockchain course, which was kind of developed as an addition to Web3. These 2 are meant to be taken together, so you'll get 10% off. And once you check out, then you can automatically access our existing video library and get ready for the summer, because we already have a bunch of videos that you can watch to get ready for June 21st. And if you want to pay with a payment plan, you can. You don't have to pay all at once. All right, now let's dive into some of these topics, like what is Web3, what is dApp development. Before we jump into learning some new things tonight, does anyone have questions so far about the course? Feel free to ask away at any time. I'll drop a link to the course again in the chat. If you have any questions throughout the night, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll also drop a link to the slides if you want to download them or read them again later. You can also book a call with us if you want to talk at another point. You can pick a time on our calendar and book a call with any questions as well. And you can email our team. I'll drop our email in the chat as well. In case after this webinar you have more questions, come back tomorrow night or book a call with us or send us an email. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about what is the realm of web development. How do we incorporate blockchain into modern software projects like websites? How do we build decentralized apps? And what is Web3 anyway? So hopefully if you've joined me tonight, or if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or Circle, you have some interest in dApps and Web3. So we're here to debunk some myths and answer any questions you might have and get you excited about dApp development. We've had some great fun before building projects in this course. This is a very hands-on course where you'll have a ton of websites by the end. So it's always fun to go through a semester with some students. First, let me know how much experience you have. This will help me to better tailor tonight's webinar and the course as well, even to my students. So feel free to drop in the chat, what is your current job? Do you know how to code? And how much web development or blockchain experience do you have? I want to know, what are your goals for tonight's webinar? And even in the future, what are your goals for the summer semester? Do you want to just learn how to code? Do you want to learn more about the whole blockchain space? Are you interested in investing in some projects, or do you want to start your own company or get hired? There's tons of goals that students might have. So let me know what your goals are so I can better tailor tonight's webinar for you. Usually students that I get are complete beginners. They don't have any coding experience or any blockchain experience. So that's usually what I expect. But if we have some more advanced students, then we can build more advanced projects. So feel free to let me know in the chat how much experience you do have. Now, we will be posting this webinar on YouTube, so I encourage you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will also be posting more content throughout the summer, like shorts with some tutorials, some examples, interviews. You can read reviews from our previous students, do some live coding. So we have tons of new videos coming to the YouTube channel. So please subscribe to Lumiwealth on YouTube. That way we can post some more free content every week on YouTube. Of course, we'll also be posting this on Circle, which everyone's free to join any of our groups on lumiwealth.circle.so. We still have a Discord channel as well. If you want to join our Discord, everyone's free to join the Discord too. So I'll drop a link to that in the chat if you feel inclined. And if you have any questions, you can also message us on Circle or Discord at any time. My name's Alexandra, and I will be leading you through tonight's webinar. I'm also the instructor of this course, Web3, and the blockchain programming course. I'm also a CTO at Mammoth Interactive, but I love teaching courses here at Lumiwealth. It's great fun. We have one comment from Habib. I want to learn how to code, want to learn more blockchain and invest. All right, glad to hear it. Yes, most of my students are in the same boat, wanting to learn how to code, learning more about the new technologies that come up like blockchain, Web3. We're adding ChatGPT, AI as well this summer. And of course, investing. So a great place to be if you want to learn more about the different projects out there, how to tell which ones have a good chance of succeeding, and in general, which projects are possible. Leo says, I have a lot of theoretical knowledge about Web3 and blockchain, but no development experience with them. All right, well, you're at a good place, good starting point to have, that background knowledge about Web3 and blockchain. It's kind of what we're discussing tonight is more of the background, but in the course, it is mostly project-based. We're building projects all the time, best way to learn. And Leo says, looking to develop my own Web3 app. Awesome, okay. Thanks everyone for commenting. Feel free to comment anytime. All right, let's take a look at a sample project from the course, one of the beginner projects that we will learn how to build together. So we can play this video. Okay, this is an example of a very simple dApp that you can create. So we're going to be starting off simple because I expect that most of the students will be complete beginners. That's usually what I get. So we have to keep the projects at a base level, make sure we understand projects completely, how we build them from scratch. So we go from an empty folder into a website like this that connects to the blockchain. So we will be building tons of these different websites together. So this is an example of one of the projects. This is a website, not much styling, doesn't look very fancy, but that's because we're focused on the functionality. If you want to add better styling, more features, that would be the next steps. But the core functionality of a dApp is to take an application. This could be anything built with code. Website is the easiest. So you take something like a website or a mobile app or a desktop app, a video game, piece of software, and you connect it in some format to a blockchain. In this course, we're focused on using the Ethereum blockchain. It's the most popular one for dApps, so that is the one that we will be using. But there are tons of blockchains out there that you can connect to. If you know how to use one blockchain, then you can transfer your skills to another one, because at the end of the day, they all have the same core architecture because they're all blockchains. So we will learn how to build apps from scratch and then how to do that connection to the blockchain. Like in this case, we have a website that says Token Marketplace Mint New Token. This website allows a user, anyone, you, me, whoever goes to the site, to mint new tokens. And a token is just a representation of something on the blockchain. This could be an NFT, which is a non-fungible token, is the most common type. And minting means creating. So this website allows users to create assets or representations of something on Ethereum. If you want to learn more about Ethereum and how the blockchain works itself, and then come back tomorrow night. We'll talk more about the blockchain. But this course and tonight, we're talking more about the dApps, which is like the visual interface toward the blockchain. Because the blockchain is a piece of software or code that is running, and the website is just like the window that allows people to do something on the blockchain or to see data, see what's happening on the blockchain. So in this particular website, we're allowing our audience, our users, to mint tokens. So we can play through. User will enter in some name like blue. If this is a token or tokens about colors, then the user has to connect to their cryptocurrency wallet in order to authorize the transaction. So in this case, we're using MetaMask, which is a browser extension. This allows you to store your crypto wallet in the browser. And so this is how a website visitor can go to your website and then authorize some transaction to happen on the blockchain. Now, your website is doing all the hard work of actually connecting to the blockchain and then creating that token and assigning it. Well, the smart contract or the blockchain would be then assigning it to the user, whoever created it. So the goal of building dApps is to increase your audience, your user base, because most people can go to a website, but there's a higher level of expertise required to go to Ethereum directly. So we build websites instead as a much easier interface, kind of like the blockchain is the factory making all the products. And then the store makes it easy for people to come, customers to come and actually buy the products instead of going to the factory themselves. So here, the user has to sign in with their crypto wallet. So in this case, this user has 99 ETH. And then the transaction will be, of course, checked to see if it can go through. If it is able to go through, the user has to pay for the gas fees for the transaction, so they have to authorize it, confirm it on the website. Then the website gives a response that's sent from the blockchain. So instead of minting tokens or buying things with cryptocurrency or creating smart contracts directly on the blockchain, we can do it through a website. So the website is the interface, the window that makes it much easier to interact with a blockchain. And this is one example of a website, but there's many types of projects you can build because remember, as I mentioned, it could be everything from a mobile app to anything built with code. It would be considered a dApp. So then the website can display all the tokens that the user minted, or just all the tokens in general that the entire website has ever minted with all the users. Any questions about this project or what we have talked about so far? You can see another example here of green. So the user is going to the website, authorizing the transaction. The whole transaction is done on Ethereum. The website is just showing you what has happened and allowing you to connect to Ethereum. So this is one project that you can build. Okay. Glad everyone's loving it. So we will actually be building that very project together this summer. And of course, dApps can get much more complex. We'll take a look at some examples of more dApps later on. Now, it all begins with web development. Because before you can build a decentralized app, you have to just build a regular app. It becomes a dApp when you add a decentralized layer on top, which is why starting off in the 10 weeks, we're going to begin just by learning how to build a regular app because most of my students, they don't have any experience building apps. If you already have an app or you've already know how to build an app, then you can just jump directly to adding the decentralized layer. But I expect most of us will not have experience building any apps. So first we will learn how to build an app. Then we can add the connection to Ethereum. But first we have to build out the elements of the page. Like in this project, for example, you have to build out the whole web page. You have to serve it online. You have to put all the elements you want on the page, like do you want text, images, buttons, paragraphs, menus, input fields, forms. What do you want on the page? Do you want videos playing? Do you want to allow different types of media, code, all of that? What do you want your website to do? So all of the web functionality that users will see, we have to learn how to build that first of all. Then we can do the behind the scenes connection to the blockchain so that the website is not just a traditional site, but it actually connects to Ethereum. Instead of just running independently or with a server, a database, which is a traditional site, we can replace or add a connection to Ethereum on top. So first we'll begin just by learning how to build a regular app. We're going to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Later on, we'll also learn React. But we need to learn these tools. These are the tools that every web developer learns at the start of their journey. HTML is used to outline what elements you want on the page. CSS is used to style the elements. JavaScript is used to build functionality. So JavaScript will be the programming language that we will use. And about 99% of websites online use JavaScript. This allows us to actually have some functionality. If we want to connect to the blockchain, we do it with JavaScript. If we want to allow buttons to be clicked, forms to be filled out, we have to handle all of that functionality or all those interactions with JavaScript. If you have prior coding experience, that will help you out a lot because you already will have some transferable skills. Once you know one coding language like JavaScript, you can easily transfer your skills to another coding language. But if you don't have any experience, that's totally fine. I expect that you'll probably not have any experience, so we will learn from scratch. Later on, we'll learn React as well, which is another JavaScript tool, another very popular web development tool. And this is going to be used later on when we build more complex websites. Once we know how to build just any application, which is just a word for something built with code, like same thing as like software, just something that was coded. Once we have an app, we can then transform it into a dApp. So we just add a decentralized layer on top. The most easy way to do that today is by using websites and connecting a website to Ethereum. But this can be done with any type of application that you'd like. We decided to choose websites because there's the most examples, tutorials, documentation out there for you. So as a complete beginner, the simplest way to learn is through websites. Now you might be thinking, well, why would I care to add a decentralized layer? Why don't I just build regular apps? Why would I add or transform them into a dApp? Well, there's tons of benefits of adding decentralization into your apps. The first, of course, is as the name goes, your app transforms in how it runs. Your app goes from being purely centralized into being decentralized. It can be fully decentralized or just partially decentralized. It all depends on what kind of app you want to make. A centralized app is like a traditional website where the owner, the company, they control how the website runs. They control where the data is being stored, how private is the information, the data. They control all the tasks that happen. They run the server, which is going to be running the website, keeping it on the web. But if you want to add decentralization to your website or to any app, the most common way to do that today is to connect the app to a blockchain like Ethereum. Now, in the future, as we get more decentralized computing, we could see other types of dApps as well. But right now, the most common type of dApp is an app that connects to Ethereum. Now, there's different ways that you could connect to Ethereum. This could be something as simple as passwordless sign-in. A centralized website would follow the traditional format where you have to sign up or sign in with your email, your password. A decentralized version of it, of that same website, could allow you to sign in or sign up through your cryptocurrency wallet instead. This way, instead of identifying yourself with your email, your password, you're identifying yourself with your crypto wallet instead. And you can also do faster passwordless sign-in that way. That's one example. But dApps, they do come in different formats. Any type of connection to decentralized computing is technically a dApp. Any type of app that has some connection to decentralization, decentralized software. So another example of a dApp could be a shop, like an online store. A centralized shop, again, would be set up with a traditional software architecture. You have your database storing the information about the products, the customers, your inventory, and then a server that's running the website. If you want to add some decentralization to your online shop, well, you could completely replace your database, your server, with a smart contract on the blockchain instead. Or you could just add it as an extra feature. You don't have to completely replace. It could be supplementary. Now, if you want to learn more about smart contracts, then come back tomorrow night. We're going to be diving into smart contracts in tomorrow's webinar. But essentially, smart contracts, as an overview for dApps, smart contracts are automated processes that run on a blockchain. Smart contracts are written with code and they define some processes like your online shop. It can define buying products, product availability, which products are sold, what kind of payments are allowed. The smart contract defines some kind of process. Once you publish a smart contract on Ethereum, it now runs independently. And this is also where the decentralization comes in. Because your online shop, if you put it in a smart contract format, it's now going to be in a decentralized form, which means it's running autonomously or independently. You no longer are the one in control of running it. You could have some special administrator role, but that has to be defined in the contract itself. So your online shop goes from being centralized, running on traditional centralized computing, to be running on the blockchain instead. Now, there's tons of advantages to smart contracts, like the fact that they are autonomous, which means once you publish them, you actually cannot take them off, nor can you exhibit as much control over them. And this is to establish user trust, that they're not trusting your shop anymore, they're trusting the smart contract, which they can see because every smart contract must be published completely transparently. So if I publish my online shop contract, it means I'm publishing the code for how the shop runs, like what products are available, when is it open, closed, all that. If there's start and open time. All the functionality I'm publishing with code and I'm putting it on Ethereum. This immediately makes it autonomous and transparent, so all my users can see how the shop is running, and my users can interact with the contract. They're no longer interacting directly with me. They're interacting with the contract. This also enables me to take payments with cryptocurrency because now, my shop is done on the blockchain, so all of my purchases will be with crypto. So those are some examples of dApps that you can create. Any type of software can connect to Ethereum because Ethereum itself is also a piece of software. So you have some code that can connect to other code, essentially, because software is just something that's written with code. So those are some reasons why you would want to take an app and make it decentralized. Another example would be if you wanted to create a decentralized autonomous organization where you can allow for proposals, for business suggestions, and for voting, where your whole organization goes from being centralized, which means from having a management team that makes all the decisions and all the business proposals, instead to being a more kind of open structure, a decentralized organization where decisions are made and voted upon by the users rather than by the central owner. Any questions so far about how decentralized apps work? You can see a whole bunch more examples here listed, like the one we saw, NFT minting, even an NFT marketplace. Something like OpenSea is a common dApp, which is an NFT marketplace that many of you are likely familiar with. I'll drop a link to OpenSea in the chat. OpenSea here allows users to look at all the NFTs on Ethereum. So your dApp could just show information. So we have tons of NFT examples here. This website also allows you to create and buy and sell NFTs too. So it actually allows you to not just see what's happening on Ethereum in this convenient format, but it also allows you to perform actions on Ethereum in a convenient format. So the whole point of dApps, well, the main reason is to make it more convenient for a large audience to access happenings on the blockchain. Now you could connect to any smart contract via your dApp. So you could create a dApp like OpenSea where you're showing a bunch of NFTs that other people have made. Or you could connect to your own contract that you made, usually for a specific reason. Like if I have an online shop, like let's say I have Lumiwealth right here. So this is technically an online shop because we are selling many courses. So I could take this centralized shop and write a smart contract for it, which means that all of my transactions can be done now over Ethereum. Now this could be a complete replacement where we just replace all of our ways of selling into only being done on Ethereum, or it could be supplementary where it's just an extra option, usually to allow crypto payments. So in this case, I would be connecting to my own smart contract that I made for Lumiwealth. The contract would define, what courses do we have, how many students are allowed per course, how many more spots are available, when is the time frame that you can buy and sell, what can you pay with, all of that. So the contract would define the functionality, and the application would go from being centralized to being decentralized. It could be completely decentralized, which means that all of your website, all of your business processes are being done over a smart contract, which means they're all being done autonomously or automated on Ethereum. Or you could have a partially centralized website as well. So in one dApp here, OpenSea, I'm just showing and connecting to a whole bunch of different contracts. Whereas another example would be where you're connecting just to one contract that you made specifically for your business. So this is more common when you're working with some company, if you're building a custom dApp for them, or if you're getting hired as a Web3 developer for a company, you're more likely to be connecting to a specific contract. If you're building your own site, Well, it kind of varies whatever project you're working on. Do you want to have something like OpenSea, where you're just collecting data from all of Ethereum, like all the NFTs in this case? Or again, do you want to build your own contract, which is like your own business or your own application? When we say smart contract, it's its own application that's being run on Ethereum. And this application is called a smart contract because it lives on a blockchain. It operates autonomously. It's fully transparent. It's decentralized. And you can never change it. Once you publish a version of it, you cannot take it off. So therefore, they're actually called immutable. And this is all to establish user trust, because users can see what your contract is doing. This also helps to inform their investments in your project, because they can read the contract and see exactly what your business promises to do. Now we have a whole bunch more examples here. Even something like a to-do list app, you could transform that into a dApp, where instead of storing all of my users, all of my to-do list items in my database and handling all of the functionality with a web server, that would be the centralized option. Decentralized option would be to create a smart contract for your to-do lists, where you can create new users just by their cryptocurrency account, their wallet. So if you want to come to the dApp, you can create a new account through your crypto wallet. That's how I uniquely identify you. If you want to create a new to-do list item, the blockchain will handle all the functionality. When you send it your to-do list item, like buy groceries, that item will be stored on the contract. So it will actually be stored on Ethereum forever. You can then mark it as complete or remove it from your list. But all of that functionality will be handled over Ethereum, which means it actually does track everything that happens, because a blockchain will track every interaction. Now, if I'm just looking at some information, like if I want to look at an NFT, see how much it costs, Ethereum is not going to track that. But if I want to create an NFT or buy one, sell one, mint tokens, create a smart contract, transfer cryptocurrency, interact with a contract, all of those interactions, they actually do get tracked by Ethereum. This also helps to establish user trust, especially in transactions, because you can verify everything that happened on Ethereum. If someone claims that they sent you one Bitcoin, in this case it will be for the Bitcoin blockchain, or one Ether for the Ethereum blockchain, you can go and you can check if they actually did send it to you. Because if they did, then you would see the transaction on the blockchain. You cannot hide or do transactions on Ethereum without them being stored. So that's another reason why you would want to incorporate decentralization. If you want to have a more permanent data storage, if you find that your app is frequently, for example, if you have a complex business process and you're frequently having gaps in the process where data gets lost, or for some reason the process breaks at some point, well, by doing the process over the blockchain, we do have this permanent storage of every interaction that is done. So you see a lot fewer instances of missing data or missing transactions or fraudulent transactions. Another reason to build dApps is to take advantage of the cryptography of a blockchain. This is one of the things that will likely stick out for a long time as one of the benefits of blockchain technology is the cryptographic nature behind it. So there's much more security in terms of there are much fewer fraudulent transactions, because your transactions get validated the cryptocurrency that you're spending, it gets checked. All cryptos, they get tracked as to who owns them at any point. So that's another reason to add decentralization, is because the blockchain does have, unique cryptographic algorithms. So we see a lot less identity theft and double spending or counterfeit spending. Just like the name cryptocurrency says, there's cryptography behind it. If you want to talk more about cryptocurrencies, again, come back tomorrow. We'll dive more into cryptos tomorrow night. So those are a few examples of dApps. Likely any project idea that you have, you can put some decentralization into it because, again, any app, if it's built with code, it can connect to Ethereum because Ethereum itself is also built with code. So we see tons of applications of dApps throughout industries, everything from finance to gaming to music, online shops, e-commerce, even just to general entertainment apps. Hand in hand with dApps is Web3. So Web3 is really mostly talking about just building dApps. Web3 is referring to this next phase of the web, which just means how websites are made. Because as we've been talking about all night long, we've been comparing centralized apps versus decentralized apps, traditional apps versus decentralized or dApps. And so incorporating decentralized technology right now is the most popular, number one way that we are moving into Web3 because it's just a different way that websites are built. And therefore, it's a different way that data is handled and businesses are run, that processes are run, that transactions are handled. So because there is a significant difference in the technology behind websites when we compare centralized versus decentralized or Web 2 versus dApps, there's a significant difference, which is why we call it Web 3. It's this new phase, this new kind of stage of web development and therefore the internet. Now, we're not in Web 3 entirely right now. Most websites are still Web 2, which means traditional setup without any blockchain connection. The whole point of Web 3 is to improve upon websites and the internet in general. Because we nowadays have large companies with huge monopolies when it comes to the web. The user doesn't have much control over their data or much control, anything really that happens on the web. But we do have a lot of data being generated, which helps the development of AI, of course. Mostly a lot of data is being generated due to social media sites, but we also have a lot of websites, a lot of developers. But we do have a lot of issues currently with Web 2.0, such as monopolies, identity thefts, fraudulent transactions, data privacy, data loss, leakage, many different issues with centralized setups that we see now. So Web 3 is all about improving upon these issues. Now, the number one way is currently through decentralized computing, but I expect in the future we also will see AI being incorporated into Web 3 and just new technology, new forms of computing also. Right now it is dApps as the number one way. Now, the benefits of Web 3 are kind of everything we talked about already. We have transparency, we have cryptography, we have autonomous processes, so we have increased user trust, decentralization, all through smart contracts. Any questions about Web 3? There's many new tools that come out all the time for building Web 3 sites. Web3.js is referring to JavaScript tools for connecting to Ethereum. So we will be using Web3.js and many other tools as well when we develop dApps. This here is an example of the workflow for how you can create one dApp, but there are many other options as well. So don't worry if you don't understand these steps. By the end of our summer semester, you will be able to understand and build all these steps on your own. But this is just one example project where you would start with NPM, you would use Truffle, run a local blockchain, build your web page, and then connect to the blockchain. So I'll be taking you through these steps and many other projects in the summer. All right, so this takes us to the end of our introduction on Web3 and dApps. If anyone has questions, feel free to ask away in the chat. You can also book a call with us, as I mentioned before. You can email our team, message us on Circle, message us on Discord. We're happy to chat anytime. This course does start very soon, so I encourage you to sign up to our summer semester. So Web3 here, starting June 21st. Tomorrow night, we will also be diving more into the blockchain side, talking about Solidity, smart contracts, cryptos, NFTs, more tomorrow. So please come back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Eastern, same time as today. If you go to our course page, you can read more about the course. We will also be introducing ChatGPT, DALL-E, and AI in general into Web3 development. So this was very exciting because we've never actually done that before with Web3. But we can use ChatGPT to generate things like code, comments, explanations, documentation, project ideas. We can also use OpenAI tools to generate images, which is especially useful if you're generating NFTs or tokens. So let me just go back to screen sharing a new page. Okay. Now you can also read more about Web3, JavaScript, React here on the course page as well. You can see the entire course curriculum. It is 10 weeks, which is 2 extra weeks at no extra cost. Normally our courses are 8 weeks, but there is a lot to cover. So this course is actually special. It is 10 weeks. As mentioned before, we have 3 different options, and we do have payment plans as well. The self-directed option is where you're learning on your own. You can access our entire video library because we did start this course about a year ago, so we already have an entire library ready for you to watch. You can take a look at the projects, start tinkering around. You have access to the community, instructor support, weekly discussion hour. The live classes option gives you an additional 10 weeks of live classes. You can also get access to our live Q&A, help with projects, help with resume and interview prep, and unlimited email and chat Q&A. Then we also have the project help or tutoring plan, where in addition, you get help with building a custom project or just extra tutoring in general. But on average, you get 10 hours of one-on-one video or phone sessions. And again, you can book a call with us if you have any more questions throughout the week. We still have some spots available, so I encourage you to sign up. And as I mentioned, tomorrow we will be discussing blockchain programming. So please come back tomorrow night. If you had fun tonight, we have another free webinar tomorrow. If anyone has questions, then please stick around and drop them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer. If you have questions about the course, if you have questions about payment plans or in general, anything about Web3, feel free to ask. When you're a student at Lumiwealth, you are a student for life. So when you sign up for one semester, you do get all semesters as well. So don't stress about maybe becoming busy this summer, because you can always join us at another semester as well. If no one has further questions, then I'll just drop a link to the slides again. In case any of you want to download the slides, feel free. You can read up more on Web3. If we have no further comments, then we can finish our webinar here. Thanks all for joining me tonight. I had a great time. Hopefully you're now excited about Web3 and dApp development. I know that I'm excited to launch into this summer semester. It'll be a great time building a bunch of projects with you. And I am also excited to bring in ChatGPT and more AI into the course as well. Those will be some fun additions, how we can incorporate them into Web3 development. All right, thank you, everyone. Again, feel free to message us on Circle or on Discord or email our team. We'd be happy to chat at any point. Thanks, everyone. Feel free to head out, and I will see you online.